Okay, welcome to another video. And I just want to say this to all of you before I get into this video. I haven't been making a lot of videos as of late because I've been very busy. Yeah, I've been very busy with life. I've been very busy with life. Yeah, I don't post that much, but I'll find some time for me to crank out more content. And plus, I don't go out a lot because of how expensive things are. Yeah, the cost of fuel is through the roof. Everything's expensive. Like things that you need from the store, food, anything that you need, everything is through the roof. So, yeah. So that's just how it is. But I'm gonna try my best to make more videos. I'm not gonna just constantly crank out videos all the time. So yeah. So I'm not gonna crank out videos all the time and yeah, like post every video every single day. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait for the video that I posted on my channel, wait for it to get old. The show like 1 or 2 days ago. Then if that happens, then I'll post another video. Let me clear my throat. Okay, enough of that. Let me get into this video. You guys saw the title of this video, so I'm not gonna say this title, or matter of fact, I'll say it. I'm gonna say this. What will America look like today if the 13 colonies didn't rebel against Britain or lost the American Revolutionary War? I'll just say this. What will America look like if it never rebelled against Great Britain and stayed loyal to the British Crown, or lost the American Revolutionary War against Great Britain after rebelling and dumping tea into the Boston Harbor and talk about no taxation or representation, or however that goes. I found something online and I'll go ahead and read this. This is AI generated. I don't want to use AI because AI will say things that are completely wrong. So I'll go ahead and read this. All right. This is about what I just said. And here's some lengthy answers. Okay. An alternative loyal America would likely exist as a massive, independent, constitutional monarchy. Instead of one unified global superpower, North America might have evolved into a collection of heavily populated Commonwealth dominions, similar to Canada or Australia, or a single immense British aligned state, likely abolishing slavery in the 1830s to avoid a civil war. How modern Commonwealth citizens and cultural figures might view this alternate America. The royal family, the monarch, King Charles III and Queen Elizabeth II, they would view this loyal North American superstate as a jewel of the Commonwealth, visiting it for state tours just as they do Canada or Australia. They would hold the ultimate role as head of state, celebrating shared histories and values. The prime ministers of the Commonwealth realms, leaders in places like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand would view America as a viable partner. They would see this alternate United Kingdom of America as a Mughal sibling who shares the same monarch, language, and parliamentary foundations. British cultural figures. Gordon Ramsay, he would likely view America's culinary scene through a distinctively British lens, rather than adopting an entirely distinct American food culture. He would embrace this mega dominion as having refined, elevated versions of traditional pub fare, Sunday roasts, and global cuisine. He'd feel right at home. He'd feel right at home with the shared culinary expectations, much like his restaurant empires currently spread across both London and the States. The Top Gear crew. Presenters would likely view this loyal America as an epic, vast playground for motoring. They would still burn rubber on tracks, but their road trips would be framed as traversing the colonies. Instead of viewing Americans as foreign rivals, they would treat them as petrolhead cousins who share a love for high-performance cars and cross-country road tests. Ultimately, people across the Commonwealth nation would see this alternate America as family. They would share deep cultural ties, a unified legal and political foundation, and a common sovereign. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, I'm just going to go over what I just read. I'm going to find something, I'm going to talk about it. Okay, the prime ministers of the Commonwealth realms, leaders in places like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand would view America as a vital partner. They would see this alternative United Kingdom of America as a monarchical sibling who shares the same monarch, language, and parliamentary foundations. Okay, today, if the United States was this alternative America today, I say people from other countries will visit this country because this country will have a prime minister, not a president. It will have a parliamentary democracy style system, or a constitutional monarchy. No, I'm gonna say no. I'm wrong. I'm gonna say this country would have a constitutional parliamentary system, or I'm just gonna say it's just gonna have a parliamentary system. Yeah, with a prime minister, and the politicians will be known as MPs, and they're all okay. The MPs will be in a parliament. I don't see Washington, D.C. as the capital of this alternate America. I will see the capital. We'll see the capital. Yeah, I see the capital of this alternative America is not Washington, D.C. It will be Philadelphia, because because Philadelphia, or Philly, which is in Pennsylvania, will be the capital of this alternative America, or alternate America, excuse me. It will be the capital of this alternate America. A parliament will be established there. I don't know where the parliament will be established in Philadelphia, anywhere in Philadelphia, because I don't know. I'm just giving hints. The American Parliament in Philadelphia, it will be, I say it will be a mixture of the Parliament in Canada, in Ottawa. It'll be a mixture of the Parliament in Ottawa in Canada, the Parliament in Westminster in the United Kingdom, and the Parliament in Canberra in Australia. Yeah, the Parliament in Canberra and Australia. Yeah, the American Parliament will be a mixture of all those other parliaments in other Commonwealth countries. Let's see. Yeah, the Parliament will have a House of Commons, and the Parliament will have a House of Commons and a Senate chamber. So when King Charles III or Queen Elizabeth II visit America, they would do a thing called, I think they would do a speech on the throne to address the Parliament and the Senate chamber, kind of like in Canada. And oh yeah, the entire, well, I say America will basically will look like Canada, with elements of the UK, Australia, and probably New Zealand. Okay, here's more. A loyal America built on these pillars would likely transform into a high trust, economically stable society. Public spaces and schools would experience drastically lower rates of gun violence, while a universally accessible healthcare system would alleviate the financial stress of medical emergencies and untreated illnesses. A strongly funded educational system would create a more globally competitive, socially mobile, and critically engaged population. This idealization American society would feature the following changes: enhanced public safety and sensible gun policies, strict yet reasonable regulations. Policies would focus on measures like correspondent background checks, mandatory safety training, and secure lock requirements. These rules are frequently discussed and supported by public health organizations and general population. Lower mortality and trauma. Safe storage laws and red flag interventions have been linked to decreased in youth suicide and mass casualties events. This shift would significantly reduce the high rate of firearm related trauma. Community focus. There would be a greater emphasis on integrating community-based violence intervention programs, shifting to national focus from reactive crisis management to preventative safety. Universal healthcare system. Financial security. Universal healthcare would eliminate medical bankruptcies and the reliance on job-locked health insurance, allowing for greater entrepreneurship and career mobility. Preventative focus, routine checkups, mental health support, and chronic disease management would be prioritized, drastically improving the overall life expectancy and physical well-being of the population. Inequitable access. Disparities in health outcomes across different socioeconomic and racial lines would narrow, leading to a healthier and more productive workforce. Strong education system, universal early education and support, high quality early childhood education, and fully funded primary and secondary schools would become the norm, leveling the playing field for children regardless of their zip code. Higher graduation rates, smaller class sizes, competitive pay for educators, and well-resourced facilities will reduce dropout rates and foster environments where critical thinking thrives. Affordable higher education and training, post-secondary education, vocational training, and apprenticeships would be highly accessible and subsidized, leading to a highly skilled labor force and reduced student debt burdens. Okay, so what else would I add to this? Trying to think here. Think. Yeah, what I just read and me giving my thoughts on this. Sorry about me stumbling on some words. I couldn't pronounce some words, but I hope you guys understand every single word that I say. Okay, yeah, in America, born or originated from. I'm gonna start over. Okay, in America that originated from 13 colonies that didn't rebel against Great Britain or and just stay loyal to the crown or lost the Revolutionary War to the British. This country will be completely different. I don't think it would be the huge country that it is right now. It will stretch from the East Coast all the way to from Louisiana all the way to Wisconsin. That's probably as far as going to be as far as it's going to go. And the British would end slavery earlier to prevent the Civil War, and plus Native Americans who were who got their land taken away from them and forced into Indian reservations through the Trail of Tears. They will be treated as loyal subjects. They will be most of them will be members of parliament. Some of them will be school teachers, police officers, and plus the British. I think before the American Revolutionary War, the British promised the Native Americans. Well, they're going to give the Native Americans land to live on. So they wouldn't be. They would. So the Native Americans, every single every single Native American tribe wouldn't be wouldn't be forced off their land. They would be killed off by war and diseases, and forced on to bring their populations down, and forced onto reservations. And plus, the native some of the Native Americans, not all of them, wouldn't be having mental problems and screwed up in their head. There'll be normal functioning people. Yeah, they'll be kind of like me, and I think the Native American population will be booming. It'll be in high numbers, kind of like the white population and the black population. Yeah, the Native Americans weren't all killed off by war and diseases. Yeah, the children will be treated just like the other children will be treated like humans, like decent, like children in other races. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of something else. Um, going back to universal health care. Yeah, the country will have a proper, decent, functioning single payer universal healthcare system, kind of like what Canada has. People won't go bankrupt over medical bills, and they won't have a job locked health insurance that's locked in with their job. Yeah, people won't die waiting to get care. And I think people who live in places like West Virginia, who have a high uninsured rate, everybody will be covered in this country, regardless of who they are, where they live. And it doesn't matter what part of the country they go to. Let's say someone from South Carolina decides to go to New York. Okay, they travel from South Carolina to New York, and they get to New York, and when they get into New York, they get badly sick. They break their leg, or they get injured in a car accident and whatnot. They will be seen at a hospital in New York. There's no networking. There's no not networking. There's no there's no in and out networking, whatever you call it. Like, okay, like, yeah, if you're, yeah, like, okay, you get treated at a hospital where you live right now, but if you go to a hospital that's far away from where you live, yeah, by traveling to a place where this hospital is, yeah, they won't treat you. Well, under this universal healthcare system in this loyal alternate America, they will be treated. Everybody be treated. It doesn't matter what part of the country they go to. They will retain their health care. They will have the same health care. Everybody will have the same health care. Everybody will, everybody will have access to health care. They will see a doctor on time and get mandatory health checkups. So that's what So all of that, that's what America will look like if it either stay loyal to Britain as the 13 British colonies and never rebel, or if they decide to rebel and they lose and they go into the American Revolutionary War and they lose the war against Britain. So in all of this, America will be a completely different country. It wouldn't be perfect. You have racism, you have crime, you have problems, and you probably have long, grueling wait times in the healthcare system. Yeah, long, grueling wait times will probably be caused by a lack of funding. You know, if you in a universal healthcare system, if you fund the system, you will bring down long, grueling wait times where people are put on a waiting list for care. Yeah, that will be brought down, and plus a lot of hospitals will be built. A lot of yeah, there'll be more doctors and nurses on staff, more hospital equipment, hospital beds, and hospital rooms, all of that to meet the people's needs. It was fully funded or not. So yeah, it wouldn't be a I'm gonna say it wouldn't be a perfect country. It will have its problems. Like, and there's a saying, nothing's perfect. And I remember someone from New Zealand said this. If someone asked them, what will America look like if it stayed with Britain and just become a dominion country out of the 13 colonies? And some people from New Zealand and some people from in the people well I'm gonna say yeah people from New Zealand or someone from New Zealand will answer this question. America will be a civilized country. And it probably would. It would be civilized. Speaking of civilized nation, the United States will be a country where people won't be rude, loud, obnoxious. There will be a caring, well-connected society. People won't interrupt each other when they're talking. Well, yeah, like someone's talking, they won't interrupt the other person. Because like here in America right now, like yeah, I said this, I talked about this in a previous video. Americans will just interrupt you when you're talking, and that bothered me, and it kind of threw me off, and I forgot what I was talking about. Then I'll just talk about something else. I won't make much sense when someone interrupts me. And and me living here in Texas, I wouldn't be living here because Texas will be part of Mexico. I'll probably be living somewhere on the East Coast. I'll probably be living in I'll probably be living in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. I would probably be living somewhere in those places. Yeah, along with me and my parents and my sister and my relatives on both my mother and father's sides of the family. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably be living in a neighborhood with some YouTubers on YouTube. Doc Garcia of the YouTube channel Damn This Place '07. My long lost friend, Captain Brandon Horror Lover, and Creation with Jennifer. These people will probably be my neighbors. They probably live next to me or across the street from me. Will I socialize with these people? I probably would socialize with Captain Brandon Horror Lover or Brandon Middleton, or in Creation with Jennifer. I probably wouldn't be talking to Dog G, because Dog G will probably be antisocial, standoffish. He probably wouldn't talk to me or Brandon Middleton or Creation with Jennifer. So yeah, and also this would exist in this alternate America, the lack of social or human connection. People be cold and distant in America. Passive aggression would exist among Americans. I don't know. America will probably be a mixture of that. Well, I'm gonna say this. Well, Americans will probably be a mixture of all of that, and how people in Australia and New Zealand would be. It'd probably be a little more like countries in Latin America. It'd probably be like that. I'm just saying. So yeah, and let's see. I think I think okay, sports, football. Will football exist? NFL? No, it will be probably soccer. That's probably the big sport here in America. Let's see. Golf will exist. Golfing. Yeah, I find golfing to be kind of boring. Let's see. Playing pool. Pool won't be a sport. Boxing, yeah, it'll be a sport. You get this. Cricket, that'll be in the place of baseball. Yeah, cricket. Bowling, lawn tennis, not lawn tennis, like lawn bowling. Will tennis exist? I think it would. Track and field, running. Yeah, so let's see. Money. Let's see. The monarch and prime ministers will be on America's money. Green pieces of paper with dead presidents on them, and God We Trust won't be on the money. It'll just be American money with a queen or a king and dead prime ministers on them. It'll be similar to money in Canada, which is in different colors, made of polymer. Yeah, money in Canada has, money in Canada is basically colorful pieces of paper with a king / queen, a black woman, and dead prime ministers on them. Yeah, the black woman is Viola Desmond, a woman from Nova Scotia, who her and her friend went to a movie theater to watch a movie, and a racist usher told her and her friend that they don't belong there. They don't belong there, and they need to leave. There wouldn't be a black woman on American Money. Let's see. Okay, the civil right. Let's see. Will the civil rights movement will exist? Probably not. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A lot of people who went through the civil rights movement, who went through racism throughout the 50s and 60s. Yeah, they'll be doing something else. Will they go through racism? Yeah, but it wouldn't be that bad. And these people would be educated and strong enough to go up against all of this. Yeah, okay, well, white people and black people in the 1950s and 1960s and before all of that, will they sit at the same table at a restaurant together? Will they drink from the same water fountain? Will black churches will be blown to bits? Well, black churches wouldn't exist. So basically, all races will sit at the same table at restaurants, drink from the same water fountain. They'll probably attend the same church. Will they attend the same churches? Probably would. I think probably look like church attendance, like churches in England. And religion wouldn't be talked openly. It'll be treated as a private matter. It'll be kept private. Yeah, so people wouldn't be running around in America. Religious people wouldn't be running around in America talking about religion openly, and they won't say things like, "Get yourself right with God and pray to God and read the Bible and go to church." That would be a private matter. That would be talked about openly here in the U.S. or the United Kingdom of America, UKA. That's what I would think. That's what my view on what will America look like if it stayed loyal to Britain as the 13 colonies and never rebel, or they will lose the American Revolutionary War to the British if they rebel. If the colonies lose the American Revolutionary War to Britain, the founding fathers will be executed. They'll all be killed because the British will be brutal to them. And I'm not going to say that the British are angels. They're monsters, as the American colonists are, because back in the colonial period, they how can I say this? Yeah, they treated native people in their colonies, most notably India. The British treated the Indian people like dirt, stealing their resources, food and everything, and calling them savages. And instead of if the colonies stay loyal to the crown, or they lost the American Revolutionary War to the British, instead of Britain sending British convicts, instead of Britain sending British convicts to Australia, they will send them to the 13 colonies. I guess they'll send them to, Maryland, Virginia, probably. I think they'll send them to Virginia. British convicts to Virginia instead of Australia. So so this is my view on how America will look like if the colonies lost the war, the American Revolutionary War, to the British, or they never rebel and stay loyal to the crown. So this is my view on what America will look like if the colonies stay loyal to the crown, or if they rebel, they will, or if they rebel and lose. So so that's all I gotta say in this video. And before I end this video, before I did this video, the power almost went out in this house, in my house. I'm doing this video in the kitchen of my home. Yeah, with this crappy HP Slade 7 tablet. Yeah, this thing is really old, and I hope you guys hear me. The sound quality is pretty bad. And it is. So I'm probably going to be doing more videos with this thing, or with this smartphone, which has a camera lens and a camera app with better picture quality, HD or 4K. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Thank you for watching. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Cheers. And in this loyal America, I probably will be saying cheers. Well, cheers again. Goodbye.